all those things we didn't have in the 80s. And I don't think cell phones were even developed till after then. So it was a different, we look back, we forget, but those days were a different type of reality. What surprised me about this book is that people actually thought it was true.
I'm here with the author today of The Dangerous Garden. The author's actually my father, Brent Maxwell, and he's going to tell us about this book that he wrote. An interesting story about this is my aunt had thought it was a true story, but we just want to clear the air here and say, is this a true story or not?
I'll tell you that all the characters in that book are based on personal experience. The events are all based on different types of things that happened, but none of it's true. It's all fiction. It's a story I made up, but I just based it on real life.
The cover's really interesting for this book. Can you tell me about the cover artwork? Did you do the artwork yourself? You said you drew the cover yourself.
Yeah.
So not only are you a writer, you're also an artist as well.
I'm a really good artist too.
So what was one of the most interesting things you remember about writing this book?
I'll tell you something that I learned. Everybody who read it, lots of my friends, so I got feedback from people I knew, they all thought it was about something different and there was a different point. They saw the book how they wanted to see it, regardless of what I wrote. I found that very fascinating that like when you read a book, you think, oh, that's what the author meant. But I realize now after that was that whatever I said or meant, people took it how they wanted, which is very interesting. And the other thing I really, really liked about that book was the fact that what surprised me about this book is that people actually thought it was true. And, and I thought, that's interesting that they would think that it was true. But these are only people I knew. I never really spoke to anyone who'd read the books that I didn't know. So.
But basically, the book takes place in the mountains in British Columbia, Canada.
Yes.
And you did actually live there for a period of time. Or is it just inferred that it's in British Columbia? Because like you said, a lot of people assume things from reading it that really aren't in the book per se. And that's why people assume different things.
It is set in the late 80s in British Columbia, and I think that's in the book as well. So, and I used real settings. That's what I mean. Much of it was based on real experiences and stuff. So.
Speaking of the 80s, is there anything particular you remember about the 80s? And you did actually live in the mountains and in the trees at one point in your life, didn't you?
Yes, and what I remember very clearly is the fact that we had no electricity, no TV, no radio. Well, we did have some radio, no telephone, and we really lived with the environment, the land, the farm, each other were very, very our whole world. And nowadays it's hard to get that. There's so much around you that comes in, from we didn't have a phone, we didn't have a computer. All those things we didn't have in the 80s. And I don't think cell phones were even developed till after then. So it was we look back, we forget, but those days were a different type of reality.
All right. So if you're looking to read a book about a different type of reality, there's The Dangerous Garden by Brent Maxwell.